One of Hallmark's top-performing shows, The Good Witch, has had a huge success throughout the years, and fans can't get enough of the show. The show is set for a 7th season, and we just can't wait to see what will happen next. But just like many other shows, there are some things that just don't add up. So we're going to tell you guys about the 10 things in The Good Witch that don't make sense. Let's get started. Number 10. Disappearing characters. Like many shows, this one also has one of those actors that you barely see in the episodes and they only appear when they need to. Well, this show has had their fair share of disappearing characters in the show, and we've wondered, what happened to them? If you're wondering who they are, we have a small list of characters that haven't appeared in a while. Firstly, George's wife slowly started to vanish from the show, then Lori stopped coming around, and lastly, Cassie's brother, who said was there for the long hauls, still vanished from the show. We did find this quite strange, and it truly didn't make sense that they didn't even explain or discuss what has happened to the characters. We wonder who'll disappear next. Number 9. Cassie's business. If you ever watch so much as one episode of the show, you know that Cassie owns her own little shop, and most of the time she gives stuff for free. Usually we wouldn't even mention this at all, but throughout the show she has given a lot of stuff for free when she has a hunch that someone needs something. That got us wondering, how is she keeping her business going? In order to keep her shop open, she must have some kind of income, and that would be hard if she keeps giving stuff for free. We truly can't believe it, but we do know she needs to cut back on giving things away just because she has a hunch. Maybe that way her business would be growing.
Is there a color you're leaning towards?
No, that's it.
Oh, decisive.
I am.
Number 8. A lot of changes in cast. If you didn't know, the show was created after a movie of the same name made a huge success in 2008. But before the show even aired, they went back to create a sequel for the movie. Since the show started, fans have noticed a lot of changes in the cast. Brandon Russell and his wife Tara have been both replaced from the movie to the series without any explanation, as well as many other characters that were in the movies and simply didn't make it in the series. The strange thing is that the show doesn't address why this thing has happened and why these actors aren't on the show. We can only assume it was their busy schedules that caused these changes. Number 7. Cassie and Abigail's friendship. When Abigail came on the show, she was presented as Cassie's magical cousin that caused chaos wherever she went. To put it simply, she was a real troublemaker, and she even stood up Grace in a cafe. She made Cassie super worried about her and tried to help her as much as she could. As time went on, Abigail was a completely different person than she was in the first season. She was reliable and honest, and even became the mayor of Middleton. She was truly transformed, but we can't figure out whether this was due to Cassie helping her or the writers deciding to change her character. Either way, even if this change doesn't make sense, we're happy with the character development Abigail went through.
Where's the fun in that?
I appreciate you moving the town line back.
Number 6. The Bell, Book and Candle. We all love Cassie's shop, The Bell, Book and Candle, but have you ever wondered how long Cassie owned this shop? When the show aired, the shop was celebrating 13 years since its opening, and that made some fans question the history of this shop. One fan even pointed out that it was previously mentioned that Cassie had opened the shop a few years before she even had Grace, while she was still married to Jake. So if that story is true, we can't help but wonder, how could Grace be 15 and the shop be celebrating 13 years of existence? That would only mean that she opened the story when Grace was already born, or the writers just made a mistake when it came to the timeline. Number 5. Grace doesn't belong in the coffee shop. From the first time we were introduced to Nick and saw how Grace wanted to be nice to him and help him out, we immediately fell in love with both of them as a couple. Even though Nick didn't care much about her help, eventually he changed his mind. Well, before he changed his mind, in one scene where Grace is stood up by Abigail, she tries to talk to Nick when he says, "What's a girl like you doing in a place like this?" This left us confused and questioning, where should she be? And why wouldn't Grace be caught in a cafe? Not only did it not make sense, the scene was also quite confusing to watch and understand why he would say that. Number 4. Grace's focus. Throughout the show, we can see Grace being this intelligent and smart girl with magical abilities just like her mother. She's portrayed as this amazing kid that knows what she wants, but as the show goes on, we notice that her focus was starting to shift. One minute she wanted to study history, and the next minute she wanted to be a writer. Then she figured out she was good at math, and all of a sudden she wanted to give fashion design a chance. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind, but going from wanting a degree in math, history, and English to being a fashion designer? A lot of fans have noticed these changes, and we hope she remains focused in the rest of the show. Number 3. Grace's age. We already mentioned that the timeline of this show is a bit off, and given that it's based on a movie, it really lacks some details throughout the show. One of them being Grace's age. The movie came out 7 years before the show even aired, in which Brandon and Tara told Casey they would get married in 2 years, and this was right after Grace was born. So at the wedding, Grace would be 2 years old, but at the actual wedding, Grace is around 5 years old and is ready to go to school. When the first season of The Good Witch aired, it was supposed to take place 5 years after the movie, so how is Grace 15 years old?
There isn't a puzzle of a horse in a candy shop, is there?
No.
Well, there should be.
Number 2. The 2 lake houses. You guys remember back in season 1 when Sam bought a lake house, right? He wanted to get a getaway house for him and his son Nick, and he took Casey with him to help him unpack. We get a full view of the gorgeous lake house, but later on in the show when Sam, Casey, and their kids go to the lake house, it was a completely different lake house. Fans were super confused as to why Hallmark decided to use 2 different houses for these scenes, and does this mean that Sam owns 2 lake houses? Why would he need a second one in the first place? We know, it's super confusing, we just hoped it to be at least 2 similar houses rather than the complete opposites.
Yeah, you like it?
I do. I like it a lot.
Number 1. The Lights Festival. The last one of the many errors this show has is the Lights Festival. At the end of season 2, we can see the entire town of Middleton preparing for its Lights Festival that happens each year in December. But in the series special that premiered after the second season, we can see this festival happening on Halloween. When author Jessica Carrington is having a book release, Casey decides to turn it into a Halloween party. So we're left quite confused here because we thought it happened in December, right? Even though this isn't the only inconsistency in the show, we hope they can get their story in order, and hopefully we won't catch any of these mistakes in future seasons. But who knows what will happen next in the show. On a related note, we wanted to know, did you notice other things or mistakes that don't make sense in the show? Let us know in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.